Good morning and welcome to the last Saturday of summer racing here at Laurel Park. I am Callie Franza with our track announcer, Dave Rodman. Dave Rodman, are you ready for this last Saturday?
Very ready for this Saturday. Looking forward to a really nice card today, and Callie, particularly the 2-year-old races. I like the fifth and the seventh race. The seventh race in particular, both races, really nice 2-year-olds in there. We're anxious to see what they do, and I think they both could be key races in the future. So. Good card in general. Couple of blinkers angles, maybe a couple of trip angles here and there. We're going to show. Dive in.
Let's dive in. But before we dive in, I just wanted to highlight really quickly, we do have a mandatory payout board for the rest of this weekend. That's going to end on Sunday. We do have our Super High 5 that ends on Sunday, our Rainbow Pick 6 that starts in race 3 tomorrow. That ends also tomorrow. And the Late Pick 5, of course, all mandatory payouts for the last summer days of racing here in Maryland. And let's take a look at that track that we have going on today. The track is fast and the turf is firm today as we kick on and continue with a nice day of racing that we have coming up. Rode beautifully this morning.
76 degrees. Keith used a lot of Del Mar this week, working for Equibase there. Take a look at that temperature, Keith. Huh?
Take a look at that temperature and be jealous because it was too hot for you. And now that you left, it's finally cooled down.
I don't know what happened yesterday as far as wagering goes in his front, but he just texted me a picture of Roberto's Taco Stand, which is usually where I go when I'm down on my last $12.
Gotcha.
So,
there we go.
They're having a great time. Keith will be back soon.
Keith will be back with us for the Timonium meet. But before we also kick into race 1, you have an early pick 5 that we need to get into. So let's take a look at that.
I couldn't find a single in here, but I thought for a $24 ticket, maybe adding a horse or two there if you have the budget. This is a decent play. Couple of horses in the first, including what's probably going to be the favorite Assembly Point, but taking a shot there with the inside runner from Charlestown we'll talk about in just a couple of seconds. In the second race, a turf race, I'm going with a couple of sharp horses. Well, one sharp horse, Billingsgate, and a horse with blinkers on, the 7 and the 10. In the third race, gonna go that mile, and for maiden low level, but I don't know. I'm gonna try Hammy Smith in there with Mike Giralis second time in that barn. And in the fourth race, a 2 and the 3. There's another blinkers angle horse today for you, Ribaldry. Getting blinkers on this afternoon. Interesting trips for the 1, and a Michael Trombetta stat we'll reveal later on the 3 I've got for you. Into the fifth race, I don't know. Here's one of those 2-year-old races, Callie. I'm going 4 deep, 3 deep in here. Probably don't have the winner, but we'll find out at the end if we can survive the first 4. But again, with a $24 ticket, you could add horse or 2 there, and it's not going to break you.
2 interesting maiden races that we do have coming up, as you mentioned, on today's card. But let's kick in to race number 1, this claiming 8,000 for the 3-year-olds and up on mile and 16th here on the dirt. And Dave, you land on number 2, Camp Pendleton, you land on the number 1, Dark Ages, for Evan Laurel shipping in with Wesley Ho.
Yeah, first of all, Assembly Point's probably the speed in here, coming turf back to the dirt. He's got a little bit of good back numbers to go for. He's kind of an honor near the lead type horse. I think probably get aggressive with him today. He was DQ'd in one victory for drifting out going the flat mile, though he did redeem himself coming back at a mile and a 16th today's distance, so he can handle the 2 turns, but going with a 2-horse barn from Charlestown, right? Look at the guy's only got 2 horses, and he's doing well with his Dark Ages, who seems to be on the upswing. He's got a good rod dog fig, so I'm going to go with it. I think he's going to get a good trip from that inside post, can tactically close perhaps to Assembly Point in any other speed.
Especially, I do think Dark Ages will love the post that he's coming from today. Gets a little bit more of a reprieve with the less tighter turns coming over from Charlestown. I go in for a shot with Dr. Ferber, Rudy Sanchez, Solomon Yanavile, taking the irons, just coming back in a similar type of run. I think that's exactly what we're going to find with some of the speed that's coming in. They can drift off a little bit, but again, I think Rudy's going to just try and nail this one down for a little bit of just trying to go for the win and placing these horses as best as he can. Currently at 3-1 right now, was keeping his 3-1 morning line at favoritism. But let's kick in to race number 2, that claiming 16, 5.5 here on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up. You land on Billingsgate for Jose Magna, Yana Viles. Jose Magna has been getting a couple of these horses at a price, coming over on that nice short go from Colonial, taking it from the back.
Yeah, Colonial win last time out, had post 10. He's going to get a good clear trip on the outside. This horse has enough early speed to stay tactically close. Yana Viles riding him back. Jan on the lawn, I'll call him, because a lot of people are overlooking the fact that he's got a big positive ROI in turf races and especially in turf sprints. He's been saving horses till the very, very end. Really sharp apprentice here, one of our many sharp apprentices here in the Maryland Jockey Colony. Maybe he found the trick. He seems to like the horse. They get along. I'm looking for a similar trip. 10,000 non-winners at 2, up to the 16 non-winners at 3. I had his number good enough to take a little bit of a leap to the next level here with that trip on the outside. If he had an inside post, maybe I may have considered going somewhere else, but I think I'll use him today.
Maybe gets an easier spot, and then you go in, as you mentioned earlier, a blinker on angle and Scotty Brown for Jane Sibeli with Victor Carrasco on top. Yes, this horse, and I agree with you. I absolutely think from last time out that this horse does need blinkers.
Yeah, I went back and looked at this video of July 30's last race here at Laurel Park on a turf course rated good, and he seemed to kind of run in spots a little bit, maybe not concentrating. Kind of, I don't know, bobbled on the turn, so I don't know if that was a factor that the turf course was good. He wasn't handling the footing, but they're trying something new with him today, and he seems to be within range. He's run against Maryland Pride, not far from Maryland Pride last out, finished fourth. Maryland Pride was third, who has a little bit less, I think, early speed than Scotty Brown. So with those blinkers, maybe sharpen them up with Carrasco. Sticking outside, 10-7-2-4. You have a chauffeur, right?
I do. I had chauffeur underneath, and we do have a quick video spotlight on chauffeur. I do believe, looking at chauffeur last time out, took some time to get used to the turf, and also sitting in the back of the gate. I don't know if you saw that right there. Just with that action coming out of the four post was just, you could tell that this horse was leaned against the back of the gates and still went wide behind the pack. But as soon as he got wide, as soon as he got clear, he ran very well and gave a nice finish to finish up very nicely. Just got beat out in that effort last time out. So just a cleaner break this time out, hopefully. But
he's a cheer him home kind of horse down the stretch. He's got very little early speed. I know he had a little trouble there last time out. His password protected, got a great ride and a good trip there. But he'll be far back early, or to the back of the pack early. But he does come running. He does come running.
Wicked Mag for Kieran McGee. Horacio Caramanos, who's also trying to steal that leading jockey title away from Javian Toledo, and happy birthday to Javian today. Just nice run. Again, situation of a little bit too short, too far back, going short. I think I like the try again. I just have this horse under. I like the horse overall, especially in run. If a horse can run well for Kieran on the turf, definitely a decent horse to stay on with. But just a little bit short running on the 10th of August at Colonial coming back. Race number 3, let's kick on to race number 3 at this maiden at 12.5 a mile here on the dirt for the 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds. You land on the number 6, as do I. Brown delivers as that 8-5 morning line favorite from Mikey Duralis, J. Ron Barbosa. The best numbers have been on the turf, but we get back here today. Fairly looks to be a bit one-pace type of gelding.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. He's going turf to dirt, and most of his life was spent on synthetics, on turf. He's run on the dirt at Keeneland and Churchill against higher levels, maiden 20, maiden 30. But as a beaten favorite last time out, I know he didn't have much kick down the lane, but I thought the race was legit. The winner won by 6. Lukey Dookie, and that horse came up a little higher than usual, I think, in numbers, at least for the winner for a maiden 16 on the grass. So I'm trusting the fact that Mike Duralis is going to try him on the dirt. He's worked on the dirt here at Laurel Park. Yes. He's worked okay, 47-4 for a maiden 10, maiden 12-5 kind of level here. Well, that's pretty good work. And going this one-turn mile, you don't have to have blazing early speed. There really isn't a whole lot of blazing early speed in there, and there's not any tremendous closer in the race. I think even pace is good enough. Notion to tap it coming from sprint to the mile, I think, is going to be very dangerous in this spot as well for Ham Smith. Used both of them in that early pick 5, the 3 and the 6. So I went 6-3-2 and 5.
I added in the 7 just underneath Mr. Fibonacci for Leo Ambrosi. I like how William Humphrey has been riding so far, so I think William's going to be able to add to that, and he simply got tired from running that hard last time out, first time stretching it out. But let's kick on to race number 4, where we have this maiden claiming 35.5 on the turf for the girls 3 to 5 years old, and we both land on Ribaldry, which we do have a video spotlight on for this Arnaud Delacour runner with the blinkers on this time. Didn't really start running until the outs, so got clear, was able to get to it, kind of paddled along. But then once you see Loving Cup come from the outside, that's when Ribaldry kind of gets a little bit of resurgence, gets a bit encouraged from that outside runner.
I'm happy you picked this video too. Earlier down the backstretch, you see she's not really a big kind of horse, right?
No, she's tiny.
But she was down inside down the backstretch and maybe a little intimidated. Once they got her outside, I mean, she's striding out with the bigger fillies in there too. Getting the blinkers today made do just the trick to get her over the top at the same distance of 5.5 there. You saw where she finished second behind the closing Loving Cup.
Absolutely. You have also Seems to Whisper underneath, another blinkers on factoid with this one. But interestingly enough, Mike Trombetta, the last 3 winners that he's brought from Saratoga to Laurel, those have been winners. So that's a good, it's a short, very short, but decent stat to follow up on.
It was made in 40 New York breds. I didn't think the race was particularly fast for that level up at Saratoga. But again, another change of equipment today coming from Saratoga here to Laurel Park. And the interesting thing to me that maybe might put her over the top is Trombetta second out on the turf. That's a strong number. He's 19%.
He is. He seems to do better with these first 3 starts on the turf than he does on the dirt. So 'tis the season going underneath for Seems to Whisper. We both also go with the Mike Merriman horse Seep. Huge field that first time out. Ran well, just got tired at the very end with 2 runaway winners in that field that day.
Yeah, spring at Pimlico against Carolina Sun. Had a bit of an awkward break, but did show some promise and was bet a little bit there at 4-1 against Maiden 25, 4.5 to 1. Gave her a few weeks off, comes back in a stronger field. The winner of that race, Princess Pita, looks like she could be something.
She could be something. Let's see how that lands out. We also go with the Phil Schoenthal Hazelmore Beach. Slow gate work. Her Grand Dame was a Grade 3 winner in France. Used to that in that mare was able to go to the lead and come off the pace. So interesting setup for that. But let's get into our other maiden special weight, the 5th race, 5 furlongs on the dirt here for the girls. But before we get into that, we do have my Rainbow Pick 6 ticket. I will quickly cover. This 5, I have the 5 on top. Was extremely impressed with the Jerry Robb runner Air Great Stream in the number 7 in that race. I worked with that filly one time. Race number 6, scratch with the 9 helped out. My price could have gone wider with Roby's Boy and Battle Bus. Never know which Battle Bus is going to be showing up. Race number 7, I could single on that, but this sets up way too interestingly, I think, with Brittany's horse with some experience with a speedy Rob on the outside. Race number 8, I almost went 4 wide, but I did. I just wanted to shade that down a little bit because I have an interesting single in the number 4, Fortune's Fool. I think Lacey Gaudette's horse is on the upswing for an interesting single in that race. And in the nightcap, I could go any way with that race, but I like Luminous but don't love him. That field is competitive enough, but without a doubt, that's a $43.20 ticket. But let's kick on in this starting of the Rainbow Pick 6, this race number 5, and I land on the number 5. You land on the number 1, Silent Swinger for Hammy Smith with Jan on board again.
Could have landed on any number of fillies in this race. I took a bit of a shot in here with a filly that has experience at Colonial on the turf. I don't think she liked being down inside there at Colonial. It looked like she was trying, but maybe, I know she's got an inside draw again today, but maybe if she can come running a little bit on the outside, she can improve a bit. She's a half to swaying to and fro, and people are going to overlook her. You know, South Carolina bred against Kentucky bred, the usual. Ham Smith type horse, and people tend to dismiss it and move on. But I thought she ran okay, better than looked forth on the grass at Colonial, and she has a half swaying to and fro, who's won what, 4
out of 5 so far.
On the dirt. The horse in form right now, so we know she should like the dirt.
So we'll see how she shows up today. But again, just the inside, I do, and I agree with all that. It's just the inside track where I thought she just shied a little bit, but maybe because she got that experience, she may show up a little bit again today. I go with the number 5, Blow Through the Lowlights. Just looking at the Dam Consulting, the filly won on a track with moisture. Her half sibling, Blow Through Lowlights, half sibling, only one run in January, was a respectable second at Turf Paradise. The winner, Hoya Paranoia, won an optional claiming 75 in April against Slots, who we know in the Claudio Gonzalez barn. So I thought that was an interesting take with that Brittany Russell runner. We go with the number 7 Underneath Arrogate Stream. I just mentioned quickly wanted to mention I did work with that filly once on the dirt. I was pretty impressed with her. That was back in June in that 3 furlong effort, but she's been up at Delaware getting a lot of that gate experience. They tend to have the gates up for schooling at Delaware a lot. But then you also go in with the number 2 for Maya Montoya and Horacio Caramanos on top.
Let's talk about her just a little bit here. Blofeld filly. Blofeld, if you remember, won first out at Saratoga, maiden special weight, and doing well with first-time starters. 16% dirt sprint winners. First-time starters, 13%. All of his offspring seem to be running early. Second Dam was a multiple stakes winner going long on the turf for Tom Amos a long time ago back at Louisiana Downs back in, I believe it was 1991. So there's some sprint on the top, some turf long on the bottom here for a first-time starter shipping in from Parks. And she will be pronounced today Blom. Blom, because I did not hit the Mega Millions nor the Powerball this week.
And
if I had, it may have been another way, but
let's
you know how it goes. Anyway,
you know how it goes. Let's kick on to race number 6 at starter optional, claiming 35.5 on the turf. I just wanted to quickly highlight that that number 7 Oldies But Goodies is who I have on top. Would you land on top as well with that claim back, a nice claim back for Mike Trombetta with Victor Carrasco back in the irons, who teamed up together for the last win last time out.
Yeah, Oldies But Goodies, same horse, same angle maybe, right? The Trombetta claim back, horse likes Laurel. I think maybe the legitimate, who knows, question mark. If Putin Online runs that last race back from mid-June here at Laurel, he could repeat. And Oldies But Goodies could be second best today. So I don't know. I thought a little bit of an open race here. The 7-4 used the 2 in the mix of Bourbon and Ice is maybe gelding that'll come up to pick up some pieces in here. And on the far outside, a lot of play is going to go to the Santa Anita, the California, the West Coast, East Coast invader from the Peter Miller / Ruben Alvarado barn into Jeff Runco's barn. A lot of folks are going to look at that California form and say, this horse is a single.
Not quite a single, but I do have.
I'm going to stick with the horses maybe who've run over this course and see what happens today.
Sure. Well, Jeff Runco, the first-time turf, that's always a bit of a question mark as well. He did have a horse that ran well first time on the turf several weeks ago, who had a bit of a wide trip. So we'll take what we can. We'll see what we can get. Definitely worth putting on underneath. But is this horse going to be a single? I would agree with you. I don't quite think so. Referring back to Putin Online, Sarah Nagel has been on fire lately, especially first after the layoff as a barn trend, hitting that at 35%. She had an 8-5 favorite yesterday that just got nosed out, going long on the turf very well. So she's just been on fire lately. I absolutely love that you have her in second. I just went with the 10 as a bit of an interesting choice. And then Bourbon and Ice. I absolutely love Bourbon and Ice. I fought with this horse on and off my ticket. Just a bit of a short turnaround is the biggest thing that I'm not loving. But with my other selection, Roby's Boy, with the scratch with Bartolino, that was the horse that was battling against Bartolino. So put in a decent effort. Why not put that horse underneath as well?
Yeah, I mean, Bourbon and Ice, Rad Paisley beat Putin Online, but you look at his form as a 5-year-old, only been out 10 times. You look at the gaps between races. He seems to be kind of an all-or-nothing horse, right?
Yes.
But with the time away from the races, he's won after a gap in his form for Sarah Nagel. I'm very impressed visually and speed figure-wise with Putin Online's last race. I think you've got to use him on your ticket.
Got to use him on your ticket. You heard it from Dave Rodman. And with that, let's kick into the other maiden special weight that we have going on, race number 7. But before we do that, let's kick into a quick commercial.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
And with that, we're back to race number 7, where you go with the Jerry Robb horse. She's all money on top with Xavier Perez with that nice outside draw and nice work coming in on July 31st.
I know Rick Proctor Sheffield Stable's been high on this filly for quite a while, and because he campaigned the Dam line of Best Fit, who I remember won a stakes race at Timonium in a thrilling finish there. She was quite a nice mare, and she's working okay. That worked July 31st, a minute 13 and 4. Good 6 furlong work July 3rd from the gate. Second best, I believe the best work that day was Majesty's Freedom, another Robb horse who you see in the in running line of Lady Serenity, if you look at that horse. So, and also 5,2. That's the horse that beat both the 1 and the 2. So comparing them on paper, you would think that this filly with a good outside draw, maybe she doesn't have a lot of early speed, but there's some speed to her inside in Lady Serenity, right? So she'll be in striking range. At least. I don't know whether she's got speed or she's a little bit of a closer type, but being by Golden Sense, I would think she shouldn't be too far back, right? Of course, you can't get that way going 5 furlongs.
Exactly. I was a huge fan. Line of Best Fit was just an overall very consistent filly in general, so I'm expecting the same out of her first that we're seeing. So, and the barn has been very, very had a lot of nice comments to say about this filly. So I do expect this filly to be showing up well. O'Shawn Hesse, I thought just very interesting horse. Didn't run into the referring to that second time out at Saratoga, lost by 22.5 lengths, but didn't run into the average maiden special rate.
Right.
Ran into Prank for Todd Pletcher, who that filly is just a highly touted Todd Pletcher filly. She's going to be showing us a lot, so take the blinkers off. Brittany Russell with the blinkers off, though, has been 30% as a barn trend lately, so the last 10 entries with blinkers off, 3 of those have been winners and 1/3 of that, so strong enough to get me intrigued with this filly coming back, hopefully into form back here at Laurel again as well.
She's going to be a forward factor. One of my favorite angles, but I know the horses run without blinkers before, is a speed horse taking blinkers off.
Right.
It's kind of counterintuitive, but
it opens them right up.
It happens. They happen to it. But this is not your average maiden special weight field she's coming back against. I realize the Prank in the running line. Lady Serenity went up way past the speed limit in her debut and paid the price. Opened up 6 lengths on the turn, finishing second. The Majesty's Freedom, the aforementioned other Robb runner who was working with She's All Money. Then a beaten favorite on the grass coming back to the dirt with Toledo aboard on his birthday. Maybe a little more conservative front and pace trip with her. The 2 was in the same race as Lady Serenity and galloped out really, really strongly in her debut on July the 8th. Tabbed her as a filly to watch off of that one, then came back to beat 6 lengths by a deserving winner that day, Spencerian.
Spencerian, a lot of net. This is a nice maiden special weight girl race that we have going on. So that's going to be interesting. A great picks overall from Dave Ron. I love your picks. So
interesting that I always kind of refer to Dan Illman's pick. He picked Liquidator on top. Dan Illman in daily racing form, and that's kind of an interesting pick given the fact that Linda Albert does win with first-time starters, but she's better second time out. Something that he likes about this filly here. I think maybe she'll win a little bit longer, but she's got some bullet works. So if you're a bullet work kind of person,
bullet work, divining rod, hey, why not? Linda Albert coming in sneakily with some of these first-time starters. So absolutely Dan Illman with the number 3 as his top selection. But let's kick on to race number 8. This allowance 8.5 furlongs on the turf. And Dave, you land on number 7 Fermat for Marilyn McMullen, Kevin Gomez, coming in from hopefully with a little bit of a resurgence go.
I don't know. This race, I spent way too long on this race, and then Wicked Prankster comes out, and I said, I'm not going to relitigate a 30-minute handicapping session here.
Why not? Yeah.
I just think that he's kind of an all-or-nothing horse. He's crazy good when he's good.
Right.
I don't know if he's going to get the pace in front of him now that Wicked Prankster is out of the race, but I decided not to change the pick in here and went with Fermat. A little better trip than he had last time out at Laurel, July 17th. 17th two-back. He's had a race this month out of town, but he's back on his home turf. And when he gets a trip, and he feels right. I mean, if he runs back to the race May at Pimlico, he'll be closing. I don't know if it's going to be soon enough.
We'll find. I mean, it's going to be soon enough. I think there's going to be, even with the scratch of Wicked Prankster, there might be a little bit more pace than what you original what's on face value here, and not a pace horse,
Well,
but
you're the pace now, right? Bob Marco?
Kind of. Bob Marco. Let's go ahead and get that video spotlight on Bob Marco with the scratch of Wicked Prankster. Toledo on top, and I do like Toledo on a horse that is a little bit more forwardly placed on the turf. So this is Bob Marco, who had to do a lot of early work. Really wonderful finish in the stake, and just didn't suit to PETA, or something had gone up with this horse. But I do like how this horse finished last time out over at Gulfstream Park in the English Channel Stakes. Just missing out on that.
Yeah, I like that race, and then the English Channel race. I just watched the race and was looking for those flying pheasant silks, and I said, well, he's trying, but he's even pace, and he's going to win, right? And then here comes the winner,
Yes.
who blew by them all on the far outside.
Yes.
So I don't know. I have kind of mixed feelings about him, and now that Wicked Prankster is out, I think he's legitimate pace factor in here for Mary Epler. Got to face some older horses today. So he seems to be the one to catch.
I mean, I have a different opinion, though. I mean, looking at the reason Bob Marco lost out on the English Channel, sure, the horse came out on the outside, but I think he was pressed a little bit earlier than what he had liked. They had to do a lot of work.
He was
at
pressed.
that
He was working.
He was working. He was pressed. He had a lot of work to do from the 3/8 on. So I think this horse is more comfortable in the position that we saw in that win at Gulfstream Park, just kind of sitting off of it. So where do you find your speed? Possibly Bourbon Currency was showing a little speed last time out at Penn. Going short, I mean, this horse is coming from a going short standpoint, so that might be a little bit of it as well. And then we also, but to get off of Bob Marco, we do have Call Me Plucky, who is slowly, I like this horse, but I don't love him in this race. I don't love him. He's just consistent. He's consistently there bringing home a check.
Good looking gelding. He's just he's kind of a plotter, and that's him. You're not going to change his ways. He's come running the last 2 times behind Power Back, and 2 back at Laurel here as well. Did get a win at Pimlico against Restricted Company off time away when he was fresh. So if he gets the pace in front of him, but then again, I'm counting on pace 2 to see Fermat come running.
Let's see. Let's see if
moving on.
Let's see if Fermat can come in for Dave Rodman at a price. But race number 9, that starter optional, 38 furlongs, a 1-turn mile here on the dirt. Extended, a little bit of real estate after that first wire, and you go with Walkaway Joe. And we've got a stat on Walkaway Joe for Dale Capuano.
This is a second back for Walkaway Joe from September 21. July 28th, finished 4th behind Caribbean. We'll mention in a moment. He's part of your top pick, I believe. And Dale Capuano, second after this 180 to 360-day layoff, 17 for 62, 27%. That's amazing. And to boot, a positive ROI. You wouldn't think that with Dale Capuano because his horses get a lot of play. He's a high-profile trainer. But this is maybe an all-or-nothing situation. Second back for Walkaway Joe. Fortune's Fool, your top pick, comes out of the same situation. Caribbean, Pit Boss, you were 3rd. Walkaway Joe was 4th. Caribbean was gone down the backstretch. They just said, let's go as far as we can,
which is the right move to do with him, with that horse, because he quits once another horse gets to him. But Fortune's Fool, again, just having to do, did the right thing by letting Caribbean go, because you didn't know he was going to go by that far. It was a tough spot to be in. You could have been dumb enough to chase after him, especially in that field. So coming from that despite that, he did make a great run down, chasing him down on the front side. So overall, I think this horse is on the upswing for Lacey Gaudet.
Yeah, whenever a horse runs out rogue like that, 10, 12 lengths on top, and tries to stay on, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, it just changes the whole mindset, the complexion of the race. Some of the riders, make a move too soon, trying to catch him. Others, just lag behind and move too late. It's not
Well, that was Johann's clock, and Johann rode it very well. Seeing that leader go ahead, because the fractions weren't crazy ridiculous, but they were enough. I mean, anytime a horse is in 10 lengths in front of you, you're going to be. My automatic thought is that this horse is going to die off.
I'm not knocking his ride or any ride in that race. But a positive point too is that, he ran third, 2 back. Your Horse Fortune's Fool to Silent Malice, who put together a nice win streak for Rodolfo Solomon.
Absolutely. So I love that sneaky factor of Walkaway Joe with Dale Capuano. Dave Rodman, a stat for us, but let's kick on to the nightcap of this last Saturday, summer day here at Laurel Park. When this maiden claiming 30, a mile and 1/8 here on the turf for the girls. You land on the number 10, Believe in Freedom on the outside for Fennica Bentley. Kevin Gomez coming in for another price for Dave Rodman.
Yeah, my price play of the day here. First time Lasix, only been on the turf one time. 3 starts, 1 turf try, 2nd turf try, gets Lasix today. I thought she ran in spots in her lone start at Delaware on the lawn, stretching from 5.5 to the dirt to 2-turn race on the lawn. I thought she was exceptional there in that 4th place finish, and a little bit of a move up today. I think she'll get a good trip outside with Kevin Gomez here. Another horse that I loved last time out, and that was only 7 days ago, was Sing Along. And I remember calling the race going, well, that was a terrible pick. Where the heck is she? And she was 15 lengths behind down the backstretch in the first couple of calls, but she had an awkward start, but it wasn't anything that cost her the race there. But they're running her back quick. Off the claim, second off the claim for Clasaris. I think she'll give a good accounting of herself as well. I'd like to see her a little closer today, if that's possible. So 10, 9, 8, 5.
I think, with Bob, that he's tried to interject a little bit of speediness in that filly, and I think just got unlucky on the day. But yes, 10, 9, 8 for you, 8, 1, 5 for me. Luminous underneath, I go with the obvious take. But let's kick into our lightning round. Let's quickly go over the doubles that happened yesterday with both John Ovello and Hugh McMahon. John Ovello gets it with Sweet Gracie for Ferris Allen in the 8th and the 9th. John Ovello and Hugh team up to get both of their doubles clean with Accelerator on that, just coming in off of that rail. And then Hugh McMahon with J-Ron Barbosa with Peace and Honor coming in at a nice price in that nightcap yesterday. Some nice riding there by both jocks.
Yeah, good to see the McMahon barn get back on the beam there, and especially with the back-to-back wins. And again, one of our solid apprentices here, Gene Alvello.
John Ovello now no longer an apprentice, now a journeyman, leading into it. So just some nice riding, highlighting that he is no longer. He's now in with the big boys and making a nice. He's in the top 5 spots for the jockeys. But let's talk about when we come back in Laurel, what's going to happen. We do have some action coming in. Once we leave, we have the Pimlico Fall Meet before we get back to Laurel in September. So that'll be nice to be on Old Hilltop again, won't it, Dave?
Yeah, we'll go to Timonium and go back to Pimlico and be freshened up to come back for the fall meet here at Laurel Park, giving the turf course a chance to rehab a little bit. And it's going to be, and before you know it, we'll be Maryland Million, Saturday, October 22nd.
That'll be a nice day of Maryland Million Day. Some nice I have a feeling that those races are going to line up pretty nicely. But just wanted to highlight that the Maryland Hall of Fame had a couple of entries, including one, the inductee started in Nebraska, earned a national championship honors as a 4-year-old in 1979. That year he won 10 of 6 starts, including the Whitney, the Bold Ruler, the Hornhusker, and the Carter handicaps, the latter while defeating Aladar. 36 career start from 2 to 4, won 15 races, 8 stakes, and finished worse than 4th only 3 times. And also wanted to highlight Smoke Glacken as well. 18 years later, took home his Eclipse Award after a nice 3-year-old season, 1997. 6 of 8 starts, all by huge margins. Wrapped up the championship wins in his final 3 starts with the River Ridge, the Jersey Shore at Monmouth Park, and of course the Frank J. DeFrancis Memorial Dash Stakes here at Laurel, all facing older runners in that time. And also won the grade winner at 2 in the Hopeful Stakes, which he caught by 9 lengths that day. But also wanted to highlight, we had a nice representation of Maryland at the Nice Fazit Tipton Select July yearling sales with hip number 123, a chestnut filly by Candy Ride, held at Humphrey Finney's Sales Pavilion. sold for $600,000 and bought for Robert Shell Evans, represented by Patrick Lawley Walken. Bred and sold by Matthew Dorman's Determined Stud, of course. Filly is one of the first full out of the Tapit mare Egret, a winner one time in 7 career starts. Egret is the first full out of Giant Causeway's Millionaire Dollar Irish Mission, Canada's champion 3-year-old filly and turf mare in 2012. Determined Stud, of course, furnished Egret as a 4-year-old maiden for $300,000 at the Keeneland November breeding stock sale in 2020 with the Candy Ride filly in utero. But let's take a look at this leaderboard that we have coming in for this last weekend here in Laurel, a hotly contested contest with both the trainer and the jockey standings. And Dave, I want to you're up there looking at everything, seeing everything. What is your take on how this is going to play out for this end of the summer?
I have no idea. I mean, today, I know as far as the trainers go, I mean, my stat, right, second off Dale Cap, right, could propel him a bit. Javion Toledo, always tough in the colony, giving a good, clean ride. And there's your trainer stats, right? He's 2 behind Dale, right? So today we have him highlighted as a stat, but Claudio's got runners in. Rodolfo Sanchez Solomon. Claudio's got 2 in, I believe, now after the scratches.
Yes.
Dale Cap with 1. Rudy has 1. So, I mean, but nobody really running away with the title, right? Even going down to the 5th trainer there, Jerry Robb, having an excellent meet. Michael Trombetta, all with a strong contingent. So that's a quality, a sign of good, even matched kind of feels, right?
Matched. And I mean, tomorrow Claudio has 5, Rudy has 3 entered, and Dale has 4 entered tomorrow. So it's going to be until this last day that is probably going to signify the leading trainer title here at Laurel Park. And let's check in with this guy in a bit for changes and scratches.